So we're going to move on to item number 4, announcements and presentations. First item was to have had introduced our new superintendent for the San Bernardino Park Schools, Mr. Jose Espinoza. Unfortunately, he has district business and they have a special district board meeting that he and the board are attending. So he will not be here this evening, but we will look to hear from him sometime soon. Item number 2, or B, I'd like to introduce the newly appointed Skyline College president, Dr. Melissa Marino, and receive an update on Skyline College activities. What I would like to say is welcome, Madam President, and very fortunate that I believe it's your 88th day since we had a conversation, so I'm tallying it for you. But I will say that we had an excellent conversation. I'm already seeing that you're reaching out to the community, the staff, students, and I'm very excited. Had a very good conversation and feel really that San Bruno and Skyline College has been fortunate to have you come here and to be a part of our community. So with that, I would please love to turn over the meeting to you and introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mayor Medina and Vice Mayor Salazar and council members. Thank you so much for having me. I've prepared a very short presentation, so I would like to be able to share my screen. I think I already have permission, and if it's okay with you, I would like to go ahead.
Please.
So I have a short agenda. I'm going to share a little bit about me personally and about my 4 priorities that I've developed in the short period of time that I've been here. And then I have a few slides to share sort of the state of the college and then an open invitation. So first of all, you know, I had a first career as a small business owner, and I'm a licensed attorney and California broker, and I had a property management company that included hotel ownership. And so I actually owned a hotel in Arizona and Bozeman, Montana, and that kept me busy for a long time. And I kind of consider myself an accidental administrator. I really just wanted to teach in the community college system, and I was identified to do a number of projects in my almost 19 years in the system. I started at UCSB as a paralegal program director, and then I switched to Santa Barbara City College, and I was the founding director of the Entrepreneurship Center, where we invited the Small Business Development Center and hosted that for a while. And I did a lot in the local business community and developed such strong relationships there. And I eventually was promoted to the Dean of Business. And then I was the Vice President of Extended Learning, which I was responsible for community-based programming. I took a $2 million revenue-generating program to a $10 million revenue-generating program in my time as Vice President. And we developed the Career Skills Institute, and all the program was free to the community. So that was such a great run. And when I applied to become president at Skyline College, I think Skyline chose me as much as I chose Skyline. And Skyline College is just an amazing and unique place. And I'm so humbled by the team there and the talent. And I'm just overwhelmed by the great things that are happening there. And I'm so excited to have joined the community to lead this community. So we have some shared values and purpose at Skyline College, and I think I'm a great match as the president because Skyline puts students first, and that is just so important. And I've spent a lifetime in service of others, and so I bring this student-focused, authentic collaboration mindset. Skyline is a leader in equity training in the state and in our district. And I also bring very open, honest transparency. And I would like to think I bring some love and humor to Skyline College with a positive approach to doing business there. And also, I just want to share a little bit about my leadership philosophy and style. I believe in a democratic, bottom-up way to lead programs and people. And I believe that it is the community and the people that will shape the future of Skyline College. I leave my ego at the door, and I do believe that in order to affect change, you need to be just disruptive enough. And so you're right, Mayor Medina. Today's my 88th day, and I have spent this time really carefully observing and listening and learning about Skyline College and the people there, and understanding our students and our programs. And so after 88 days of listening and observing, I've come to understand that our educational landscape is fundamentally changing. And I think for the first time in a while at San Mateo County Community College District, that funding is a little uncertain because the state's funding is uncertain. And there are external pressures and forces. And so we are, Skyline and the district are leaders in student success, but this is a very sharp directive from our state chancellor's office to really improve student success and to address anti-racism. And I also observed that participatory governance, which is a legal requirement of how we operate in the community college system, hasn't been enough of an emphasis, I'd say. And also with the pandemic and COVID-19, we're finding ourselves very isolated. And so based on all of those things, I developed these 4 priorities that I've just recently revealed. And so you can see a little bit about why I chose these 4 things. And I'm going to skip the first 3, and these are not necessarily in any order, but I'm working on participatory governance, anti-racism initiatives. We are developing a 3-year fiscal plan, forward thinking with contingencies for a number of funding scenarios. And finally, I'm focused on community engagement. So I would like to kind of drill down a little bit here because this impacts you and our community. So we have a need for fundraising. And I want to focus on this because the pandemic has caused isolation, and especially for our students. And we are all working remotely. The district has made a decision to continue our remote efforts through June. And so in a sense, this is no longer an emergency, but more of a lifestyle or work style. And I'm working on really developing relationships because I feel that if you have that trust and foundation, it helps us get through tough times, and we need to support each other. And so these are the things I'm looking at, how we engage. I'm responsible for President's Council, which is community members and elected officials get together, and we talk about our fundraising efforts and our fundraising priorities and work together to roll out some of those efforts. And I'm having a series of town halls and meet and greets, and I have an invitation to a meet and greet that I've already planned. I have a slide on this, but I think it's November 18th, where we're inviting elected officials and community members to come, where I'll share a little bit more about me personally, and we can have a dialogue, a Q&A, and Chancellor Michael Clare is being so gracious with his time, and he will be there with me because, again, I'm so new to the district, I'm still learning, and he might be able to help me answer some of the district-related questions. And so we already have quite a foundation here in the community. We're embedded in the K-12 system with our dual enrollment program and a community partnership with our business leaders and civic leaders. And so I am here to continue in that vein and to, be super full of gratitude for the support that the city of San Bruno has given Skyline College for so many years, and I want to continue with that legacy. And I have a few slides on the state of the college, and this is one of our data slides that I just find so fascinating, because this is about our enrollment. So the blue line is our head count, and when you in the community college system, when you see an economic downturn, you see an inverse correlation to an increase in enrollments. And so we're seeing the increase in enrollments here, which makes sense. But we're seeing a decline in FTES, which is our full-time student equivalency metric. And this is related to how you get funding from the state, which means that the number of students we have coming to Skyline right now are going up. But generally speaking, Skyline students are taking less courses. And so I think of the orange line as the sort of pandemic effect that we've really never seen before. So I just think this is an interesting slide. So COVID-19 has affected everything that we do and how we do business, and we pivoted on a dime in spring to bring all of our face-to-face classes in an online format. And we have such an amazing, from my perspective anyway, coming in new, an emergency ops center that's second to none at the district, that has been an incredible support to each of the colleges. And Skyline is offering very limited face-to-face. In fact, the state requires us to offer everything online that we can offer online. But these are the things that we brought face-to-face. We have this automotive program that has outdoor bay areas. We've brought some health classes and some science labs that are just mandatory, that you can't do in any other way. So we're offering those in a hybrid manner with a reduced number of students coming and rotating through. Our dual enrollment program is going so strong. So that really hasn't decreased during the pandemic. And we have 16 high school participants and a number of sections and students and pathways. And so this continues to grow. We are engaged in some fundraising efforts. I'm trying to have a masquerade ball. I'm working with our emergency ops center to make sure that we are able to do this, but our idea is to have everyone get dressed up and drive through and have an experience from the car. And so we're working on some very creative things, and that will be, so I will be sending out save the dates for December 3rd. And then locally in the community, we have a district-wide workforce task force. And we've collaborated, all three colleges, with the district to address job loss and the short-term training opportunities that we've been offering at Skyline for those that have lost their jobs during the pandemic. We're trying to do some rapid career development and child development, hospitality, human resources, and digital design. And through our Bay Area Entrepreneurship Center, we're giving small business assistance through grants and training, and we've ramped up our career readiness and job placement. And finally, I think what everybody is talking about right now is how we've opened our campus to a drive-through food distribution every Wednesday from 11 to 1. And we've been at it for 8 weeks, and you can see these metrics. It's just grown so quickly, and I think we're kind of leveling off here. And so we have served in the 8th week up to 666 families, and so this is an equivalent to about $288,000 dollars worth of food that we have distributed in our community. So that has been just an amazing effort with the support of our public safety and our facilities team and our Spark Point group. And so here's my invitation, open invitation to get to know me a little better. So I'm hosting this meet and greet on Zoom. And so it's an opportunity for me to have a conversation. It's quite a bit of Q&A, more Q&A than me speaking. And then my open invitation is to contact my assistant, Teresa, if you want to meet with me or ever just want to meet one-on-one and have a conversation. I'm looking forward to developing my relationships with our elected officials and with the council members. And so I look forward to what comes next for us.
We all want to thank you very much for taking your time, because I know you're, like you said, your 88th day, and so you've got a lot going on, and I do appreciate, and I can say, not only on the food, you know, you've been up there and you volunteered, and you have your staff that is assisting as well. And so as we had spoke, Skyline College has been very important to this community, and has assisted us in challenging times, in fun times. And I'm sorry that we're in COVID-19, because we would all go up there and welcome you properly and appropriately. But next year we'll be here soon enough, and I'm sure we'll be able to have that encounter. And I appreciate you reaching out to the community, to the electeds. And like I said, I walked away with our conversation just very impressed. And I think Skyline College and San Bruno, like I said, are fortunate to have you. So again, on behalf of the council, welcome, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Now go relax before you have to go to work on your 89th day tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to item C. Thank you to San Bruno Ecology for partnering with the city for the Fall Community Cleanup event, which was held on October the 17th, which was a Saturday. And do we have the general manager?
I am here. Thank you for letting me take a few minutes to not only thank the city of San Bruno, but thank several of our council members and residents that actually came out to help our very first ever community cleanup event. I just wanted to brag a little and provide you some stats, which I think are pretty astonishing. We served over 262 cars and trucks that day for 3 hours. We filled 8 30-yard debris boxes, which ended up weighing 24,000 pounds. We collected over 4,200 pounds of electronic waste. And we collected 11 gaylords, which are extremely large square boxes filled with paint. We don't have weights on these, however, I can tell you that was an extremely large amount of paint. We recycled about 15 appliances that day. And then we also followed up, we kind of ran out of room towards the end, and we had to turn a few people away, but we made good on our word, and we did about 12 additional pickups on the week following for those people that returned away. So again, I want to thank Councilmember Laura Davis for actually partnering with us on this very first project, and it was a tremendous success. So thank you to the city of San Bruno and Jennifer's office for assisting us with permits and layouts, and we had some community service officers that helped with traffic, and I think it went very seamless. We had no issues blocking the fire department. We have received lots of emails and actually phone calls from those residents thanking us for putting that together.
Thank you for the update. And I think what I learned was that the e-waste and the paint, especially the paint, were things that people were very happy to be able to get that taken care of. So as a reminder, of course, folks can request through your office to have their twice a year at this point pickups. But thank you for all that. And I do know that some of your team was there till 2:30, 3 o'clock that afternoon, along with other folks here that are on the screen that worked hard. And let me tell you that the weather was warm, and some of the gentlemen that are on this screen really worked hard. And then I saw Councilmember Davis actually directing traffic, so she did it all. So, but I want to thank you very much for helping, and for the city staff too that assisted in the endeavor.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll continue on. We're now going to go to item D, receive an update on COVID-19 response and efforts. And we will turn it over to Jennifer.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. We're just pulling up the presentation now, so you should be able to see the cover sheet there. My name is Jennifer Dianos. I'm the assistant to the City Manager. Looks like the clicker isn't working here. Okay, I am the assistant to the City Manager, and I'm here to represent our Emergency Operations Center public information team and provide an update on COVID-19 to you. Next slide. Tonight's presentation includes our county's current statistics, our new status on the blueprint for a safer economy, COVID-19 testing information, the county's Halloween guidance, and a few other resources and information. As of October 22nd, just this past Friday, the County Health Department reports that there are 495 positive COVID-19 cases in San Bruno. The city-by-city stats are released each Friday. The San Mateo County data dashboard provides a snapshot of data related to COVID-19 cases in San Mateo County. In total, there are 11,198 positive cases in our county and a total of 159 deaths. 159 includes 4 deaths since the last report out to you earlier this month. As you know, this health data is used by the state to evaluate our containment of COVID-19 and how that applies to our status on the blueprint for a safer economy. The blueprint for a safer economy is just that. It's a blueprint or a roadmap for reducing COVID-19 in our state. It includes identified criteria for loosening and tightening restrictions on activities and business categories. For the last 3 weeks, the county was in the substantial category. However, earlier today, the state of California announced that the county has now qualified to move to the orange or moderate tier of the blueprint. This change further eases restrictions on activities. Our county qualifies with 4.4 new positive cases per day per 100,000 population, 3.0 adjusted case rate, 1.6 positivity rate, and 3.7 healthy equity rate. These all fall within the moderate category, and counties must maintain this criteria for a minimum of 2 weeks before qualifying for the next less restrictive tier and vice versa. The question of the day has been, so what does that mean to San Bruno? And it actually means a lot. So first of all, it shows the transmission of COVID-19 has decreased and testing has increased. So thank you to everyone who has helped by taking the necessary precautions. Malls and stores are allowed to open indoors with some light restrictions in common areas. Personal care services, nail and hair salons are all allowed to operate indoors. Family entertainment centers are allowed indoors at 25% capacity. Museums, zoos, and aquariums are allowed indoors at 50% capacity, as are places of worship and movie theaters. Gyms, fitness centers, and indoor pools are allowed indoors at 25% capacity. And finally, restaurants are allowed indoors at 50% capacity or 200 people, whichever is fewer. Previously, bars were not allowed to operate outdoors. And in the moderate category, they're allowed to operate, they were not allowed to operate outdoor or indoors. And now in this new category, they're allowed to operate outdoors with modifications. And lastly, playgrounds and outdoor recreational facilities are allowed to reopen. If you have questions about what is or is not allowed, the state's website, which is www.covid19.ca.gov, has information about required operational modifications and safety guidelines. And this is helpful for business owners as well as the general public in order to safely comply and continue with our progress to move forward. The data used for the blueprint for a safer economy strongly relies on testing. The county is now offering, oral mouth swab COVID-19 testing that is self-administered for children and families in partnership with Curative Inc. Testing is open by appointment to all families that live in San Mateo County with children ages 5 and older. Free testing is available at the San Mateo County Event Center, and appointments are available weekdays, Monday through Friday, from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. The easiest way to make an appointment is to connect through the county's website at smcgov.org. find the testing icon or logo, and click to find information about this and other testing sites that are available. It's important to note that individuals taking an oral test cannot eat, drink, chew gum, smoke, or vape in the 20 minutes leading up to their test. And just to give you an idea of how it works, individuals will have to cough deeply 3 to 5 times, swab their mouth for 20 seconds, insert the swab into a provided tube and secure the cap on the tube so that the swab tip is facing downward into the tube's liquid. Shake it up a little bit and then return it securely in a sealed bag, all completely self-administered. It's similar to the process for the locally administered testing sites. Local sites are part of the effort to continue to test in disadvantaged areas and to meet the newly established equity metric mandated by the state. And the San Bruno Emergency Operations Center is planning for a site in San Bruno, and information about the local testing site should be announced next week, so please stay tuned. Mobile testing is available in San Bruno as well. It was held earlier today and will also be held tomorrow. The testing site is available 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and that's at 975 Smith Lane. There's a schedule on this slide on the screen that has additional locations within our county. Mobile testing sites are free for individuals 18 and older that live and work in San Mateo County. Appointments are required and they can be made at projectbaseline.com/COVID-19. I do want to note that mobile testing is through Verily, and the family and local self-administered testing sites are all through Curative. Both are two separate testing providers and have different registration websites for appointments. So all of them are available on the county site, and that will serve as a centralized landing page for testing information. So why is testing important? Being tested for COVID-19 may help limit the spread of COVID-19 to family and others in our community. Testing plays a key role in determining what business categories are permitted to be open, helps us return to work and everyday life safely. And in addition to testing, preventative safety measures are important. And so I know we have all heard this many times, but social distancing and masks are critical as we progress. For those who do not have a mask, the county has a community crew mask mobile, and that mobile drives around to distribute free masks. If you see the mask mobile, feel free to stop by. It's made its way to our area a couple of times along with Millbrae. But please do remember to respect the space amongst other visitors visiting the mobile, especially if you do not already have a mask on. Halloween is this weekend, and this year we'll have to celebrate in a slightly different way. This is a reminder and information. San Mateo County Health issued a guidance for Halloween and Dia de los Muertos. Please avoid high-risk activities that are not permitted. That's gatherings, events, or parties with non-household members, carnivals, festivals, live entertainment. It's just a way to be creative on how you celebrate the holiday. You can host a virtual costume or pumpkin carving party, wear a mask if you go out, watch a movie with people that you live with. All of this information and several more ideas are all available on the county's website, and you can get to that through linking on this page or going to smchealth.org. It is important to note that the change to the moderate tier on the Blueprint for a Safer Economy does not affect this holiday guidance. With the year quickly coming to an end and the holidays and additional holidays on the horizon, we'll all have to keep in mind this year it's going to be different than years past, and we'll just have to adjust in order to keep ourselves, our families, and our communities safer. Next, I'll go over a few resources available to our community. For those that are in need of food assistance, there are several options that are available. Great Plates Delivered is a program that delivers nutritious daily meals. It's a program for adults 65 and older and other eligible residents. This deadline for the program has been extended a couple times and has most recently been extended through November 7th. And the county has typically made a commitment to continue that through the end of the month. There are several other options for food assistance, including free meal distribution sites for school children, Second Harvest Food Bank, and CalFresh. Information about these programs and others can all be found at smcgov.org/food. For our local businesses and following our new Skyline president, The Bay Area Entrepreneur Center and Skyline College, along with several other partners, are hosting the Small Business Symposium, and that's titled Lessons in Adapting. The symposium will be held this upcoming weekend. It's October 31st through November 2nd, and will include the exploration of challenges that small businesses face in navigating the impacts of this pandemic. The symposium will feature small business owners, local experts, and community leaders, all sharing their insights and advice on how to move forward. More information about the symposium is available through the BAEC, and that website is skylinebaec.org. Next, I have the COVID-19 safety guidelines for vote centers. So many people will be busy voting through the next week or so. Those that are out and at vote centers through election days, please remember to adhere to all of the established safety guidelines. These were pulled from the election site. Wear a face covering or face mask over your nose and mouth. Maintain physical distance of 6 feet from others. Use the hand sanitizer that will be on site. Vote using single-use styli or finger pots. And lastly, you can use the ballot drop box by 8 p.m. on election day if you do not want to visit a vote center directly. And lastly, please stay connected. Make sure that you and your family are registered for SMC Alert. SMC Alert is the emergency notification system that we use during the time of an emergency. You can sign up by visiting our website at sanbruno.ca.gov. And please also be sure to follow us on social media. And with that, Mr. Mayor, it concludes my presentation for this evening, and I appreciate any questions that you may have.
Thank you for the information and presentation, Jennifer. Appreciate it. And we'll go ahead.
Through the chair.
Councilmember Davis.
So Halloween, I'm starting to hear lots of questions about the little trick-or-treaters. I guess a message should be getting out that kids shouldn't really be trick-or-treating. I mean, I know they've come up with some unique ways with sending candy through a tube down into the sidewalk, but I would assume that's the message we're trying to get across, is no trick-or-treating, try to stay home and do family fun things.
The guidance distributed through social media. We do also have a reminder post that is scheduled to go out later this week, and we will be putting that out through all of our platforms.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Councilmember Mason.
Great, thanks. And I was hoping that one of those could be also, some of the local schools are hosting trunk or treats. So I was hoping that maybe they could, the city manager can get in contact with the superintendent and make sure that the guidelines are being followed.
Yes, Councilmember Mason, we do know that, and trunk or treats are not recommended. And we are reaching out to the school district to inform them of that, and hopefully there can be a modification made.
That would be great, thank you. And then my other question is in regards to an update on the emergency funds that were approved at the onset of COVID, and when we would get the next update on where we are with those funds.
Yes, Councilmember, that is due to the council at your very next meeting when we do the Q1 update for the first quarter, July, August, September, and that report will be coming to you at your next meeting.
Great, thank you.
Okay, again, thank you, Jennifer. Let's move on to item E, receive annual report from the Culture and Arts Commission.
Good evening, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, phew. Oh, and now my screen size changed. Sorry, hold on. So I can see my notes. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Melissa Rolfs, and I'm the chair of the Culture and Arts Commission. I'm pleased to present to you the Culture and Arts Commission's 2019-2020 annual report. This evening's agenda will include the Commission's members, the purpose of the Commission's accomplishments for the year, and our goals for next year. At the end of the presentation, I would be happy to answer any questions you may have. Next slide, please. The Culture and Arts Commission consists of 7 commissioners: myself, Melissa Rolfs, Chair, Pamela Gamble, Vice Chair, Jean George, Pamela Madden, Janet Monahan, Judith Puccini, and Melody Tobin. I lost my train of thought. Anyone is welcome to email the commission members at cultureandarts@sanbruno.ca.gov. Next slide, please. The commission is responsible for promoting artistic development of the community, preserving San Bruno's diverse cultural heritage, acquiring and maintaining public art, sponsoring programs and events that enhance the quality of life, and improving the image and character of our community. Some of the commission's events had to be canceled this year due to COVID-19. These included Movies in the Park and the Children's Art Project at Community Day in the Park. However, the commission was able to achieve a number of accomplishments in spite of the pandemic. These include the installation of traffic signal controller box artwork, Shakespeare in the Park, the library art gallery program continued, and then the recommendation of relocating the memorial recognition sculpture in City Park and creating and installing a city art map on the commission's webpage. Now let's look at these accomplishments in more detail. Artwork was completed, as you can see from this slide, artwork was completed and installed on 3 traffic signal controller boxes. Each box was assigned a theme. The education theme box is located at Sharp Park Road and Pacific Heights Boulevard. The patriotism themed box is located at San Mateo Avenue and Huntington Avenue. And the Mission Bells theme box is located at Sneath Lane and Seabiscuit Avenue. These 3 boxes mark the completion of this project. The commission is now in the midst of determining if it would like to proceed with a new set of boxes, and if so, how it would like to proceed. Exactly one year ago today, the commission sponsored Shakespeare in the Park. The play that was performed was Hamlet, and the performance was by the San Francisco Shakespeare Festival. The commission has sponsored Shakespeare in the Park for the past several years, and last year we had a record attendance of 102 residents. We're looking forward to holding Shakespeare in the Park again in 2021. Next slide, please. The commission selected 3 artists for the library's art gallery program. Artworks for this round of the program were on display from July 2019 until the library closed in March of this year due to COVID. We look forward to hosting new artworks whenever the library does reopen. Next slide, please. The commission also recommended relocating the memorial recognition sculpture in City Park. As you may recall, the sculpture must be relocated because its current location is within the footprint of the new Recreation and Aquatic Center. The new location will be near the west end of the tennis courts. This project is scheduled to be completed by Thanksgiving. And finally, an art map was recently created and installed on the commission's webpage. This map lets users click on a location and see a photo and a description of the art that the commission initiated. Users can also go directly to the art map at sanbruno.ca.gov/artmap. Next slide, please. We have several goals for 2020-2021. The City Art Fund does have a balance, the City Art Fund currently has a balance of $338,911, so we're in a healthy financial position. We will continue to work with the Parks and Recreation Commission to establish an art presence at the new Recreation and Aquatic Center. We plan to restart the library gallery exhibit program when the library reopens. And the commission plans to sponsor the Children's Art Project in conjunction with the Posey Parade and Community Day in the park. Continuing with the commission's goals, we plan to return to holding Movies in the Park next September. And then we will present Shakespeare in the Park once again in October of 2021. We also plan to host the 2020 Narita International Children's Exhibit artwork in the children's room of the library as soon as the library reopens. Finally, we will continue to develop the Commission's vision for future art projects. A moment ago, I mentioned the Narita Japan artwork at the library. Here's an example of the artwork from that exhibit. This piece was drawn by a second-grade Narita student. This year's theme was sports in anticipation of the Tokyo Summer Olympics, which have now been postponed until next year. This concludes my presentation, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for the presentation. Any questions from colleagues? Councilmember Medina.
Yes, I just wanted to commend the artwork that has popped up around the city. It's really wonderful, and looking forward to seeing more of it. I love how you guys went ahead and put that art map. I just found out about that today, so I think that's great, and looking forward to much more art in San Bruno. So thank you for your work.
Thank you for that. I'll be sure to pass that along to my co-commissioners. We're pleased ourselves, so thank you for noticing.
Okay, if nothing else, Councilmember Mason.
Hi, Melissa. I just wanted to thank you for the presentation. I love the utility boxes that are popping up all around the city. I did want to ask if there's any work being done right now around like a downtown mural of any kind, and whether that's something that's been asked for in the past.
That's a great question. There's nothing being planned. I should say there's nothing finalized. There's certainly been talk. We even did a walking tour through downtown San Bruno to identify locations that could be suitable for it. But those conversations we really have only had, like all the other commission meetings, they went on hold for a while, so it just slowed everything down. So there's certainly conversation around it, but there's nothing finalized. It's something that I can tell you that we've had requests and interests from members of the community around this idea of a mural. So there's certainly interest, and it's one of the things that we plan to explore in this coming year too, 2020, 2021.
Thank you. And just one other question is, I saw that you're doing the art in the library.
Yes.
Is that aligned with the library when they focus like on, because someone had commented on the fact that there was like a Women's Right Month, but then there wasn't a whole lot of art for Black History Month in February. And so I'm wondering if there's work going on around that for on the cultural side of the Art and Culture Committee to work with the library around that area.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand your question. So are you asking if the art is aligned to cultural sensitivities? I'm missing something.
Yeah, is the art aligned to not just cultural sensitivities, but is the Arts and Culture Committee working with the library around specific focus, but like I guess focus months, I would say, when they're celebrating certain events?
Okay, I see. We have not up until this point, but it's a great suggestion, and I'll bring it back to them. It's very much driven by the artists that submit their art to the review process to be considered. I can tell you that the commissioners and then the library staff that support us have been really involved in like, I don't know if soliciting is the right word, but certainly putting out feelers to people in the artistic community, inviting them to apply. So I like the idea. So it's a long way of saying we have not approached, the commission has not approached the library to collaborate in that sense around themes that are, that are timely. But I will also bring that back to my fellow commissioners because it's a really good idea.
Great, thank you.
And once again, Melissa, thank you very much for your presentation. Please pass on from all of us our thanks and appreciation, even in these COVID times, making progress and being here. We appreciate it.